So I'm Ashley. Welcome to my channel if you're new here. I have my own creative agency that I launched this year. I wanted to make a little video today about everything I've learned this year and my top 10 tips for anyone who is starting a business and is self-funded just as I am, and how rewarding and unglamorous it can be. Just all the things that I did not know going into this. I tried to prepare and I tried to reach out to other people that I looked up to that had done similar things, but there's just so many things that I learned along the way and I'm still learning. So I kind of wanted to make a top 10 about those, and if that is helpful to you, thank you for sticking around, and I'd love to hear from anyone who is looking to open their own business or has been through something similar. I look forward to building some more community here. I'm gonna try to keep these top 10 like a little different than your typical, like, here's the LLC website and all those kind of things. Like, these are just things that I did not really realize I needed or were really important, things that were worth my time, that made an impact, whether it was small or where it was something free to do that it was just time consuming, but it was really worth it. And number one would be cleaning up your digital footprint. If you are starting a business and your name is on it, anybody in this day and age is going to be looking up that name. We all know, don't have things on your social medias that, you know, can reflect poorly on you. You just can't underestimate what people can find, and you might not be the problem, but you could be tagged in things that you didn't know you were tagged in. Like, doing a deep forensic digital clean out is gonna take a weekend. It's not fun. I recommend getting a hard drive so that you can back everything up to it. And if you have like college photos you don't wanna lose or anything like that, just get it all off. And even if it's not stuff that's controversial, it's just better to give people nothing. Because people have bias, and yes, you can be like, well, I don't want to align myself with them anyway. You are a single person in business and you need all the help you can get. If you're trying really hard just to get in front of the right people and get in front of any opportunity, you don't want anyone closing a door to you because of any bias they may have. If something is true to your heart and soul, that is not negotiable. I'm very pro LGBTQ, I'm pro gun control, and I'm not gonna stop talking about that. I'm only saying this because personally I had to go back up everything. You know, I'm tagged in funny memes, I'm tagged in people complaining about how hard our thesis was. So just do the forensic clean out. Do yourself the favor. It's a free thing that will just make sure you bulletproof yourself from anybody just being judgmental of you, because that's the thing too. Like, it doesn't matter that you're looking up to somebody in some higher business role. That's a human too, and everyone is capable of judgment, and you just want to protect yourself from bias in any way. My second lesson I've learned also kind of segues with that of like the power of free platforms. LinkedIn is crazy powerful. I know it can be a little tedious to use. I've learned that if you're not paying for the premium level, things get really difficult and like kind of stop working. So I get it. It's a band-aid sometimes that you have to rip off. You need to set it up. You need to have all your contact information on there, clear as can be. And you want as many of your friends possible to go hit that follow button, because you want, when someone comes up with your name on Google, that LinkedIn is coming up next. Like, you want as much as your name just populating. You are like making business pages on all of these free sites, having a free Facebook business page, having a free LinkedIn one. Those are just more things that are legitimizing your ranking when you're searched. Instead, because Wynn is not a new name. There's a lot of other Wynns and Wynn businesses that can come up. You want your specific business, when someone types in that name, to have all these other things backing it up to just make it look a little bit more established, which is a really good thing to do when you don't have financial backers and you don't have all these other things that have been linked to you and mention of you yet. You don't have press releases. Anything you can possibly do to just connect your name to more things that are free, that is really worth your time as well, I've learned. That leads me to number 3. I learned the hard way that you have to have at least a year in business. If you want to apply for a line of credit, if you want to apply for grants, if you want to sign up for women or minority-owned business certifications, all of these things are going to require you to have at least a year in business. I think that sounds logical. It's just something I was never told. And it's something I never really read until I started going down these paths. Like, most of the things that were told to me or I Googled about owning a business were the autonomy that you would get of having this credit available to you or having loans available to you. None of that happens in the first year. So if you are looking to start a business to like change your life, get yourself out of generational poverty, change the trajectory of what is available to you, and really build something from the ground up, much all the reasons that I got into becoming a business owner, you need to know that sooner the better. Opening your LLC is about like $150 all in, and you do have to pay that annually. If you do that now and you start bookkeeping for yourself, you start learning how to present yourself as a business owner and get your little ducks in a row, getting your business cards, setting up that website, doing those things and starting to prove income. You can open a checking account for free, having income that's getting reported to the business. Do all of those things while you're working another job, while you're still gigging, while you're still doing whatever you're doing, because it's going to take a year before you can seriously make changes in your life as far as being able to apply for financial backing. If you want to do that for yourself, it's going to take at least a year. Go ahead and open it now and be building it. I mean, you're going to lose weekends, you're going to lose sleep, you're going to lose a lot of your free time. So you need to take it on as another relationship. You need to nurture it as one. One thing that I can say in the meantime that kind of piggybacks off of this, free services are available to help you learn to record all of your business doings. Expensify has been my best friend. I religiously put everything in Expensify. I can categorize it really quickly about like what kind of expense it was. And also just keeping that visual understanding of like, what am I truly paying for? What do I truly need? What has been an immediate benefit to me and actually helped me, and taking something, you know, time is money if it's taking weight off your shoulders by the things that you're investing in. That is a huge financial point that I learned. And that goes into number 4, as far as treating this as your relationship, treating this as your full-time while you still have other full-times going on, because you have to have revenue coming in. I don't know everybody's situation. If you're blessed enough to be like, hey, I'm starting this business because I already have the full-time revenue, awesome. If you're someone who is also working part-time elsewhere or full-time elsewhere, you just have to be able to take on that emotional and energy burden that it's going to take. You do get the imposter syndrome, you do get the fatigue, you do worry about where's the next thing coming. And then also when you get the client, you work so hard to get the client, and then you're like, oh my God, what if I can't deliver? And then it starts to just never end. You have to constantly, I mean, I recommend therapy if you can afford it. I recommend a strong community, whether it be church, your gym, anything where you are surrounding yourself with peers. You need peers, even though that no one's gonna have your exact experience. Not everyone is a self-funded business person, but you need people who are also striving and excelling in their careers or whatever passion they have or whatever hobby they have. You need to align yourself with other people that you can soundboard to, and you can say, oh my God, I'm so worried that like these deliverables aren't going to be good. And that person who will put you in check and be like, yeah, but last month you were saying that you might never land this client. You need to constantly holistically look at your situation. It is a machine that you are powering. You have to continuously remind yourself that you are plugging the machine in. The machine's not running you. And that also goes into my number 5 point, where I recently had our first company trip. And I remember the day that I got the proposal to submit and bid for this job, and I felt like I wasn't good enough in that moment of why are they even calling me? I can't pull this off. And when I had my first meeting with them, of them showing real interest and me realizing like, oh, like this could happen. And when the first deposit hit, And now I'm packing my suitcases, and me and my head of photography are going off to North Georgia, and we're really actually going to go do this service. The days leading up to that, I had every imposter syndrome possible of, what if this isn't good enough? What if I didn't pack right? What if I forget something? What if all these deliverables don't go well? I realize now in hindsight, having our first big trip, I just constantly was like, what if, and never, oh, okay, well, you knew what it took to get to that. You're gonna put that same energy towards the next step, and just keep putting that same energy next, and like having like the confidence of like, well, you did it though, like, and you can keep doing it. It doesn't have to be like, oh my God, like I did this, but I just got lucky and now it's gonna fall apart. No, it's the same energy exponential. You just keep channeling it and channeling it without burning yourself out though. And that's where that community well needs to come from. You need to be taking really good care of yourself to be able to do all of this. Kudos to anyone who's doing it with a partner or with kids or anything like that. Like, I am a single person. This is just my relationship and my baby. I have realized how to kind of perform at the level I need to, and I get enough sleep and eat right and have these therapy sessions with all of my peers and things. Our first trip, it went amazing and it was really, really fun. And now there's so many takeaways from that trip that I didn't realize are the important meat and potatoes of all of this, that it wasn't just like, oh wow, we landed our first client, we got to travel with them and it was cool. It's more so the importance of the team building that came from that trip. I didn't realize that these shared experiences matter so much, and like the humanity of it all. Like, my head of photography, he's his own person with his own life, and I love him to death, and obviously we got to spend that much time together. And you just realize that like, oh, like he worries about his performance as well, and he worries about how well everything is going, and if the client is going to invite us back, and if we're going to have a lasting relationship with this client, and if I'm happy. Us being able to bond in that way was really important, and I recommend that whether you are a service similar to mine, or if you are just having repeat vendors that you work with where you source your stuff, express your gratitude to them, ask how their day is going, have little moments of bonding experiences, because I feel like in those moments you get things revealed to you that you may have needed in that moment to reassure yourself. Talk to the people that you're surrounding yourself with, really get to know them and enjoy that sense of community a little bit more. And I can't wait for our next trip. It's really changed my perspective on all of it. I don't feel like I'm penting up so much on myself now. That leads me to my sixth point: show your work in action. You don't have to have that imposter syndrome of like, oh, my ego is so big if I'm posting on LinkedIn everything we do. No, post it all. Tag anyone you've worked with, because not only that, like the people they work with, they're seeing those tags constantly. Anything you can't ask for Google reviews, it's a free thing that you can ask from people. All of it matters just to see tangible work, which you can also get stuck in that whole idea of it's not perfect yet, things aren't launchable yet, they're not deliverable. Any little bit of mentioning that just bumps up your SEO even more. And then when you do have those big tangible launches that you're working hard towards, they're gonna get more eyes on them because you've already gotten more search engine optimization going on. For number 7, I've learned to pivot. You gotta pivot. You gotta pivot all the time. This economy is really rough. I know that is our constant news cycle right now. Our social media is dominated by it. It's a really rough economy. People are really struggling to either keep their job or find a job. And a lot of industries are rapidly changing. There's just a lot going on. In my line of work as a creative agency, I've had to be willing to apply services in a new way, pitch services in a new way to a new industry, find ways to really make it happen. For me, that has looked like the form of working with tech and medical clients quite a lot. They are rapidly changing in their fields as well, so you have to kind of get on board with that, of what they are looking to promote and what they're getting into. A lot of it is AI. There still needs to be a lot of marketing around that. The tech clients that I have military contracts. That is a sector that is growing. It's had a lot of reductions in certain areas, and other areas it's growing. You have to go where the growth is. You need to be astute to like Forbes and other Business Insider things, like read newsletters from them, sign up to whatever you can that is business focused, where you are getting leads on where industries are shifting towards, and pivot yourself to be a service that could be provided to those industries. So hopefully all that scenario I was just talking about applies to you and your industry, or what you're thinking about, like how can I continue to offer services and make whatever company I have attractive. Be willing to be creative in whatever you can offer, and be willing to walk away when you realize that this direction no longer serves you. And that goes into my point number 8. My whole career was as a model. I'm really grateful for it. I started when I was a professional dancer at 16, and then the girls that I met, they all made their supplemental income through modeling. So then I segued into it, and I made a career out of it, and I'm really grateful for those experiences. Even at the time that I went into that industry, it was nothing but, honestly, negativity. I graduated high school at 16, but I went in to like college and all of that in 2009. That is peak recession, and things were not good. They really, in my opinion, have not bounced back, not for my generation. I still made a living as a model during those times, but it wasn't easy. It did teach me a lot of work ethic, taught me a lot of budgeting, all that kind of thing. You would have conversations with girls 10 years older, your bookers who were boomer age, that the days of, you know, making 10 grand a day and shooting these amazing magazines and European clients coming in here to Florida to do things, that's all gone. Like none of that existed in my time. I realized that I was really fortunate, and I still got to travel. I still have been to countries I never would have been able to go. I was still part of that old guard where, you know, you did 9-hour fitting days, you did really long overnight filming and all that kind of stuff, you know, like all of that is slowly going away, because also with just budgets, it all has really drastically changed. And I'm grateful for all of that. I still take modeling gigs here and there, and I have just seen the drastic decline with this year's economy in budgets, in rates. A lot of runway shows that happened every year getting canceled. Clients are not coming to the States because they're afraid of immigration issues, and they're afraid of bringing their teams here. But there's a lot of uncertainty going on in a role that I've had for so long. It's really unfair, and it's really sad to see all of that go by the wayside, and those hardworking hours and all really amounting to nothing in the eyes of what they're willing to pay anymore. It's sad to see all that go, but at the same time, you have to, as I said, know when something isn't serving you anymore, and know when to pivot. And this economy takes a lot of pivoting right now. It kind of segues me to my 9th point of just preparing yourself. You have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to put your ego aside, and willing to try to level with not knowing everything, that you're going to need to learn so many new skills, and you're going to have to ask for help, whether that be from strangers on the internet, a meetup group that you find. You're going to have to ask. If someone has something that you want and you want to know how they got there, you have to ask them. The worst they can say is no. If you're willing to teach yourself, then you have to be knocking on those doors, or you're just going to get stuck accepting less. Definitely prepare yourself for how humbled you're going to be by doing this whole experience. And my 10th and final tip is having a growth mindset and being resilient. For me, that means what is coming next. I know that right now I'm doing everything I possibly can to be ready for January. That's when I can finally file my first taxes, and I can look into all of these things that are possibly offered to me. I did look into some loans, and they're like, the company that I had my car loan with, because I had good standing with them, they offered me a small $25,000 loan, which was really considerate and helpful of them. So if you have a good relationship with your bank or with your loan provider, you can go to them and see like what they might do with you. They might do a good faith offer to you. Unfortunately for me, that taking the leverage of a $25,000 loan that I didn't particularly need didn't sound worth it at the time. It's something to just know is there. In January, I will be looking towards higher lines of credit that might be offered to me. I want to take those lines of credit, make purchases, pay it back, try to roll it into higher and higher lines of credit so that my company is liquid and has assets, even though I'm not, you know, particularly spending them. That's not really my plan, is to spend. I'm looking to just bring revenue in. That way in the next year after this upcoming year, so 2 years from now, I could look into purchasing a home / office property with my business. My other plan is for the next year, having paid my car loan off this year, looking to lease a vehicle through the business for the next year, continue to keep my vehicle that I'll own, and then have a car so that that's another asset that the business has. So looking to expand my assets, that is something that wasn't really like a roadmap given to me of how to do that. I didn't really know. I didn't take any business classes in college. I'm sure you can gather that from all these things that I'm saying were new to me. You know, if you're someone who didn't have a business background, just has a service background and is looking to build a business around the services they provide, like myself, I had to learn all these things, and I'm learning how to diversify my credit so that I build assets for my business. That is my focus for next year. Another plan of growth for me is applying to women in business owned certifications. A lot of them say that they're a 1 to 3 year process, or they need 1 to 3 years of business ownership. And then they say that with 1 year of ownership, you can provide a written statement of your year in business and your business plan. I also have not applied for a business credit card yet. I have been researching them. I love points. I use reward points for everything. If you guys have any recommendations, that's more than welcome. And those are my growth ideas for the next year. I recommend that you just make a plan. Make a plan for as many free things as you can utilize, as many ways as you can capitalize on your own free time to establish things that are going to open these doors for you and be there when you are doing the work and you are just solely focused on the clients and the work of it all. Be building your infrastructure in this first year is the biggest takeaway that I can give, and utilizing as many free ways that you can build that infrastructure. And I really appreciate if you've watched to the end here. I hope some of these tips were helpful, and I'd love to hear your feedback. If you are a small business owner, what's something that you learned that was not readily available information to you that you find useful as well? So, thank you.